Hi, credit union friends, and welcome to the BD Now channel. Today, I'm excited to have a conversation with Rick Durante, and I wrote his title down because it's really long. Director of Corporate Social Responsibility and Government Affairs, and he is also the Executive Director of the FMFCU Foundation. Hi, Rick.
Wow. Hi, Julie. Great job. All right.
Wow, is right.
But thank you for
Yeah,
that.
that's ample. I'm like, that might take our 10 minutes. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. Today, I really wanted to bring you on to talk about the foundation that you created at Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union. I get so many people. In fact, just last week, I made an introduction to you, which made me think, oh, gosh, let's do an episode on this. People saying, we're thinking about creating a foundation. We want to do our foundation better. Who do you know? And you are always top of mind. And I think because I've had a front row seat to some of the stuff that you've done. Also, everyone, I'm on the advisory board for the Berenstain Bears Financial Literacy Program, which is also under Rick's umbrella. And so that's a great program as well. And that's been a fun journey. When did we start that, Rick?
That has been since 2011, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
about
yeah. It
there.
was when I was living in Philadelphia.
2011.
So
Yes.
those were fun trips to go up and be part of the Bears action. So why don't we start with you sharing a little bit about the story, like just a quick overview of what's the story of the foundation?
Sure. So if we go way back, we started 2007. I think we were a relatively early adopter of a credit union foundation, and there certainly were a few then, and that helped us to get started. But we have, for a long time, have been interested in education, furthering education, educational causes. And the foundation grew from that. We knew we could do more than we could do as just the credit union, but as a foundation, it's allowed us to bring in more partners, companies, for-profit companies, even who want to have the tax advantage of working with a foundation, and of course now the prestige of working with our foundation. So we started out, like I said, in 2007, but it certainly has grown and developed. Back then, we had a couple of ideas what to do, but didn't know that it was going to grow to what it is today. And today we are, gosh, I would say we are, excuse me, we are supporting so much. We support the community as a whole. So our credit union's goal is to strengthen the community and businesses. The foundation's goal is to strengthen the community. So we do that in a number of ways through Food Insecurity Fund, one of our largest funds. We have a scholarship fund as well. We give out several scholarships to graduating high school students. We run an academic quiz competition, which is probably most unique for probably any credit union foundation, but it is an academic quiz competition that started in our area in 1948. It needed a sponsor, it needed someone to help manage it, so we stepped in to do that. And the foundations allowed us to do that even better than if it were just the credit union, because we do bring in other sponsors from the community who help support it. So we don't have to fund that alone. We can accept the generosity of a lot of other corporate sponsors and individual sponsors as well. And then in general, we're doing a lot of in education, or I should say specifically teacher awards. We have the Delaware Valley now Excellence in Teaching Award. So we highlight 20 teachers in the Philadelphia region through through a nomination process, and we select them and we reward them with grants both for them and for their schools as well. And then we have a big recognition event every April coming up in a few weeks for us called the FMFCU Foundation Celebration, our keepsake here from last year. So all those teachers are there. Kids in the Delco High Q program. We have parents there. We have fans and supporters of those teachers and those kids there. And we also have a lot of decision makers who come. We last year we had a member of Congress. We have typically local and state lawmakers who come in. So it is a great event that recognizes these students and teachers and others in the community champion, but it also helps to, I guess it helps us to get word out about what the foundation and what the credit union is doing in the community as well in front of a lot of decision makers.
Yeah, yeah. It's very multifaceted, all of the things that you do. And I have to say, Rick, that, and I've told you this before, that I was living in Philadelphia at the time and on the advisory board, and I had gotten to know, done some work for you guys, and I went to the gala, the event, and I like my jaw dropped when I walked in there. It was what, 500, it was
Raised by
huge.
500 to 600 people a year in
Yeah.
Philly. Mhm.
And I had never, and I had come from a large credit union, working in a large credit union. And we got maybe those numbers when we were doing fundraisers for Doorbusters or things like that. But I had never seen a room full of people and decision makers throughout the community. It was so impressive. And so I feel like this is a natural extension of business development, right? So, or this leads, there's so many opportunities to actually show
Absolutely.
your value proposition and that you care and show up in a way that is value first, you care first, and then the relationships come. And so what thinking about, and also the spelling bee, right? You do, it was that what you
Academic
said?
competition. Mhm.
Yeah,
We also
yeah.
have
And
two.
so, yeah, that gets, does tell us about that.
Mhm. Sure, there's 21 schools in our area, in the county where we're based, that compete in this competition, and they compete through a series of competitions, all held at their school, in front of an audience, usually a full auditorium. And it runs from December through March, and we'll have these competitions. We'll have a wild card round, a semifinal round, and a big championship as well. So it's a really big tradition here. It was started by former Scott Paper Company, and they merged, and new owners came about, but we've helped to make sure it continued in the community. So now we manage and run that. But the kids, it's amazing if you see that in person because it's a lot of smart kids, I'll say, very highly intelligent kids who
We don't want to go
compete.
up against them, do we?
No, no, it's like, it's like Olympics for the mind sometimes, we call it, because it's not just answering questions, but it's a competitive three teams against each other format. So it's amazing to see them. And that really was the impetus for starting that celebration to begin with. We found that there wasn't a lot of recognition for this program. And our late CEO, John Udangst, he really wanted to do something to include all of the 21 teams, not just the top three winners or top winner, whoever it might be. So the first year we took over as sponsor, we came in and managed and sponsored this first dinner celebration. And John was very adamant. He wanted to have Alex Trebek as the host. And people doubted that could even happen, but he figured out a way to make it happen. And Alex Trebek was the first host of that dinner, and he sat
What
with
a
the kids.
story.
He had his salad with one table of kids, and his meal with another, and his dessert with another. He sat with the kids all night and did made remarks and spoke and hung around for pictures with every team after it was over. So it was a great way to kick things off. We don't have anyone of Alex Trebek standing coming recently, but it really did kick it off. And we had 500 people that year, and we still have 500 people. And of course, we've added the teacher awards and scholarships and other things like that. But it really was big for us, I guess at the time, little credit union, so to speak, to try to get Alex Trebek to come to the Philadelphia area from Los Angeles to come and speak to, 200 kids. But it happened.
Boy, boy. John really had a magic touch, didn't he? Nothing
Yeah,
yeah, he did that, and then he just is like, I'm going to call Mike Berenstein and have him write a book about credit unions.
exactly.
Like, let's
That's
just believe it
basically
can be
it.
true and make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, it helped that there were people who said we'd never be able to do it, and I think that was the turning point that it would be done once people said we can't get help.
Alex is
We have to
coming,
come to
and he's going to
Highton
network the
Hall,
tables.
yeah, and talk. Yeah, exactly. But we did
Yeah.
it.
Well, there's a lot to respect and love about that because the whole thing, because you're honoring something that has deep, deep roots in your community, right? So you're keeping something alive. And when you think about credit unions and how we're really trying to stay community focused and give back and be part of the community. And as we grow and mergers, it's sometimes like we get away from that a little bit. And so you're keeping that alive. And then you're also that there's not a lot of lights being shined on educators and the education system and how hard they work. And so
Exactly.
that's also impressive that you're like, let's help shine a spotlight where it's really deserved.
Exactly, because we saw this, banquets for sports, a lot, and,
Yeah.
and that's great. Sports deserves its recognition as well, but we weren't seeing any type of, at least in our area, this type of recognition for education. And then when they
Yeah.
had the teacher awards, the Excellence in Teaching Awards, really kind of put a cherry on the top of this whole event.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, how has that allowed you access to the schools? I mean, are you seeing growth from all of that interaction and engagement? Are you seeing that translate into business for the court credit union?
Yeah, so I mean, we do see growth from that specifically, and we also have very robust financial literacy program. You touched upon the Berenstain Bears financial literacy program. We have our mobile Bear Country van, and we go out to schools and visit kids um, at their school and conduct financial literacy lessons with the help of our friends, the Berenstain Bears, and of course you're on our advisory board. We have a CUSO that sells that program. But the Berenstain Bears, I'd say we've been doing that for a while now, well
Yeah.
over 10 years. But even before that, we were still out in schools doing presentations. So the community knew us and the education community knew us, adding the Berenstain Bears, sponsoring HiQ, the work of our foundation, all that just helped to build up our credibility as well within, that education circle. So in this area, every administrator, we hope, for the most part, knows Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union. The teachers know us, the parents know us, the community knows us. And I think you touched upon a great point. It's keeping that credit union difference and uniqueness, as we merge and become, credit unions become larger. We never want to lose that sense of who we are. And even, we're just at GAC a few weeks ago and hiking the hill, the lawmakers, as much as they'll talk about, whatever regulations we want to talk about and legislation, they love to hear about what we're doing in the community, what we're doing to help their constituents. And they see that as one of the large differences between credit unions and other financial institutions, and they really appreciate it too. So that's a big plus, not just for one credit union, but for the credit union movement.
Such a differentiator
Definitely.
too within your community and yeah, and the power of that. Say, so I imagine there might be one or two people because these are, I mean, some people might think if I could pull off an event for 500 people, I would just like, wow, do a happy dance. Like that would be amazing. But you're talking about more and more, all of these things, Rick. So I imagine there's someone out there saying, how are you doing all of that? That's all a lot of work.
Yeah, well, we're very fortunate to have the support, obviously, of the credit union to not just fund the foundation. We have more outside funders now than internally, which is great. But, the credit union, Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union donates all the salary, the resources, and the support. We have the support of the executive management team and the board of directors. So obviously, that's very important to have, that support. So we were able to create in the corporate social responsibility department. So all we do mostly is community impact. So there's several of us now who do that. I'm no longer alone in that, as maybe I was 15 or more years ago, or 20 or more years ago, whatever it is now. Time flies.
Yeah, I think you
Um,
had one person back
yeah,
when
I was
we
yeah,
first
one
met.
person, and we have a team, and now, so we're really committed. And our financial community financial education has a team as well to go out and just do financial education not only in schools but to also adults. So we're fortunate to have those resources and the support here of management. I think, that helps. You wouldn't get it done without that, obviously, but it's possible if you want to start your own 500 person banquet. It takes work, but it can be done. And the foundation itself, I mean, like we talked about, some of the things we're doing, we're also out there giving out teacher award, not just teacher awards, but we have classroom grants, we have nonprofit grants, and we're really focusing on smaller nonprofits, not necessarily startup nonprofits. It could be, but we like to look at those smaller nonprofits that might be a little bit under the radar, but doing great things. So, for example, we have a food pantry that we've helped to support. This food pantry started literally during the pandemic in someone's backyard, and it's continue. And now they have their own space, and we'd like to see that nurtured and be part of that. So, if we can help in some small way, we're very happy to do that.
You create every year a strategy for the year? Because I imagine there's so many different choices and everybody needs support. How do you decide? Like, what do you have a filter, a framework system that you put everything through? Or so share a little bit about that.
We do. I mean, we look at specific pillars, like I mentioned, food insecurity is, part of our community, a pillar, but we're also looking at healthcare as another example. So we'll do some healthcare initiatives in addition to the community development and the education is obviously a large pillar too. And we also look at, and under our department in corporate social responsibility, we look at the giving from the credit union itself too. So the credit union might have more different giving or more sponsorship type of events that it's handling. And the foundation is purely charitable. So we look at all that and we do plan through the year of what we're going to support. And we're also flexible enough to know that if something comes up and we can support it that we didn't know about a year ago or 6 months ago or 6 days ago, we have to jump in and help to support that as well. And that goes a long way to being part of the overall community. And I think too, and I want to say it's important as well in some of these ventures like food insecurity, we work with other credit unions too. It's not just about, being competitors. We're definitely cooperators. Philabundance, which Julie probably would know, is a large food bank in the Philadelphia area. Every year, we partner with at least 13 other credit unions, and we have a combined food drive. And we go to Philabundance and drop off thousands of pounds of food. So, there's a lot of opportunities for credit unions to work together, and they do that. We might not see that as much in other industries, like banks or other financial institutions. So the cooperative aspect is all around us.
That's a great organization. I miss my Philly days.
Yeah,
Oregon's great too, but boy, that was
I'm
a
sure it
fun
is.
8 years. Fun 8 years living in Philadelphia. What have you had to rethink, Rick, or evolve since you began?
That's a great question. So when we began, one benefit as well for the credit union is the foundation is a partner group of the credit union, and our foundation does offer membership. So for a membership fee, you can join the foundation, and that also makes you eligible to be a credit union member as well. And that's been since the very beginning. And of course, we are a real foundation we have a separate board of directors and financials and all that great stuff that we're doing. So it is very legitimate to be able to do that. And we knew we wanted to do that at the beginning, but that wasn't the sole purpose. We knew that was sort of, a side benefit of this. But what we learned over the years was just to be more focused and think, okay, what can this foundation do specifically, and who are our constituents? Who's out there that needs our services, and who do we want to serve and help? And how can we make the most impact with our resources? And I think at the beginning we're sort of, well, anything, we'll run that through the foundation, and we'll put that there, we'll put that in the foundation. But then we realized we really need to be more focused. And we do have, I mentioned donors to the foundations. We have individuals that donate to the foundation and corporations that donate to the foundation. And what they want to see is how those funds are being used, and we'll be able to prove that to them. I think another thing, if you're starting a foundation, is to, help members in the public with their confusion between, we're Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union, we're FMFCU Foundation, so sometimes it's like, wait a minute, who am I giving to? Why am I giving a donation to the credit union? Well, you're not. You're giving it to a 501(c)(3), and this is what we do with it, and this is how we're different than the credit union. So there is some education in there for some as well. I think it's very important when you're starting and continuing your foundation to keep that in mind and to do that.
That's a great tip. Do any other tips for those people that I keep referring to you?
Yeah, make sure you have a strong mission. Understand again, there's differentiation part of that, but you also want to define the mission of your foundation. What do you want it to be? And you can be very broad or you can be very specific. But the more specific you are, that might lock you into certain causes, but it also gives you a very focused foundation. Say we originally focused primarily on just education, and our mission was education and other charitable causes within the region. So we broke out into other charitable causes, but we still wanted to define those. Again, it's hard being that catch-all for everything. So you want to make sure you have that mission and it's clear and everybody buys into it, and you have the support of all of your stakeholders. That's crucial. Oh,
Great
and
advice.
recruit a board too. You want to get some people from the community. We have a mix of credit union volunteers, board of directors, credit union employees, but we have also members of the community, educators, business people who serve on our foundation board. And I think that's important too, because they bring different skills, different mindset to the foundation, and also shows to your constituents that this is a well-rounded board. It's not just the credit union. We have outside people on this board who support what we're doing and bring what they can to the table. And it's a huge benefit. And they're volunteer.
Credibility, just the credibility that builds.
Exactly.
People
Credibility.
want to know, like, who are my people that are participating in this? Yeah, great
Exactly.
tips. Well, honestly, what a great example, Rick, of leading with purpose and leading with, building those relationships that will last. And I feel like, if business development teams, if you have a foundation at your credit union, listeners, and you're not involved with that, like that's a great way to make a cold call a warm call and open doors. I just think, I listen to you and I think access, access,
Yeah,
access. It creates
exactly. Opening
access to
doors.
yeah, absolutely, yes. Wow. Well, thanks for sharing your expertise with us,
Oh, you're
Rick.
welcome. Thank you
Always
for
good to
having
talk
me.
with you. We end with a social spotlight. Yay. So who do you follow and why?
Well, it might not be credit union related right
That's
now.
okay.
I'll
That's
tell you
even
who I'm
better.
following the most because it's that season is the Philadelphia Phillies. That's,
That feels
that's my social following.
it is. It
That's where
is.
I'm
Yes.
spending my time on social media. We're getting close to opening day and we're looking forward to the Phillies going back to World Series. So
Yes.
that's where I am on social media, to be honest.
I love that so much. And my husband has been wearing his Phillies hats. He has two of them. So
Oh, perfect.
I have a couple too. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple too, maybe more than
Yeah.
two.
Yeah. Yeah. We're lifelong Phillies fans for sure. So we're there with you.
So
Well,
I don't know
thanks.
if that gives you the insight into who I'm following on social media that you were looking for, but
It tells us a lot, Rick. It tells us a
it
lot.
tells you something about me.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, well, thanks for joining us today, Rick.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes. And we'll see you next time, everyone.